if you take retailing, it's no surprise to me that those retailers that didn't foresee the growth in e-commerce have really been suffering, and a number of major brands, as you know, have left the high street.
Yeah.
They just saw too late that the consumer was changing the way they want to shop, and the way they want to shop is conveniently. Now, interestingly enough, in Visa, we were tracking the kind of figures because we see how people are using all their cards, debit cards, credit cards, and everything else. And 20% of all transactions that are done on a Visa card, this is across the whole of Europe, are now done online. So there's a huge amount of shift to people shopping at home, or at least, even doing all the searching at home before they go and kind of buy. And that shift is taking place, and that shift on e-commerce is now moving on to mobile devices. Now, I don't know what a mobile device will look like by 2020, but in Visa we always said that 50% of our transactions are going to be on a mobile device by 2020. I quoted that 3 years ago, and I think I'm wrong, because I think it's going to be quicker than 2020 before that happens. And if you think about it, if you can shop when you've got downtime, when you're travelling on a train or on a bus, or you can do it while you're watching TV at home. And how many people are sat at home just playing around on their iPads? And
but Peter, what about the effect of that on the high street? What about the effect in the region and local economy?
Yeah.
Isn't that going to be bad for the high street?
No. If the retailers that have got it right, so if you take like the Next of this world, they have seen the opportunities in e-commerce, and if you talk to them, they very much see the branches as still being really important. They want them on the high street because people have got to return goods at some point somewhere, and some people do still want to browse. I think it's a bit like the cashless society. Okay, it will never happen. Okay, we'll always have cash. People will always want cash. Okay, but the trend is away to using e and m-commerce, and therefore, and by the way, it's easy to say that it's just in the retailing and service environment and everything else. But I think it will affect all sorts of businesses. The digital economy is changing the way we operate and do things. And you've only got to look at the mobile phone companies, the kind of Nokias of this world, again, didn't get into smartphones quick enough. So they've been overtaken by the Samsungs and Apples and such like. So it's going to change the manufacturing side of some businesses as well. So all I would say is, whatever business you're in, the way people are going to find out about what you produce, what you're offering, and your service and everything else, they will be doing it on a mobile device. Think long and hard about what that means for your business and how you're going to really leverage that huge opportunity which exists.
And what about older people?
Yeah.
They're an important part of our economy, aren't they? And more of us are living longer and longer.
Yeah.
You and I are one of coming up to that sort of generation.
Thanks for reminding me.
Lots of people are worried about this sort of thing.
Yeah.
My wife will buy probably airline tickets, but she's very sceptical about other things.
Yeah.
How do you convince them?
I suppose it's a bit like my father-in-law, actually. Yeah, we all clubbed together, it must have been about 4 or 5 years ago, and bought him a laptop and wondered if he'd ever use it. He just shops online all the time now, because once you've started to use it, you get the confidence. So again, we've got to be very careful about saying that the older people are the people that won't use it. Actually, it's more convenient for the older people who find it difficult to get out of their homes. Okay, but I do accept, usually the early adopters are the younger people. Let's face it, I don't know a younger person that, quite frankly, hasn't got a mobile device attached to themselves, permanently. And I still haven't been able to work out what they do, because they can carry on a conversation with you while texting to all their friends and everything else. I've not worked that one out. So, there will be some people who do not want to use mobile devices. Okay, but the general trend is more and more of the business will be done on a mobile device. So absolutely, it's a bit like I said about the cashless society. We mustn't get caught up in this is going to